Hi from Cilento. So today the weather is so-so. Chiedono com'è il tempo.
Diciamo così così.
Così così, we say così così.
Sì, comprare. I understand. Here we've got another very white winter day in Canada, so much expected. We will get started.
Here, usually it's sunny, but today it's a bit cloudy, so let's see later.
Yeah, the sun I'm sure will come out there. It's always beautiful in the south of Italy as far as I've seen anyway, so.
That's true. We cannot complain.
Yeah, we have Arnie here from Iceland. Nice to see you, Chef. Uwe is there. And yeah, we've got lots of people here watching already. We're going to get started in, I'm going to do 1 minute, and I'm just going to set up my timer so we stay on task. We will have a action-packed half hour to share with you. So let's get started. I'm going to keep the question and answer to the side here. If anybody has any, please put it in the question and answer box on the side. The chats are great for saying hello and all, but Isla, who's behind the scenes with us from World Chefs, helping make sure we get everything on time the way we should, will let us know if there's questions happening there, and I'll check through them as well as we go. So we'll get started. My name is Chef Shona Chalmers, and I am the chair at World Chefs for Feed the Planet, Sustainability, and Inclusivity. Today we have the distinct pleasure to have the chef and partners in collaboration for Ristolab, Sofia and Amabile. I'm saying it right, yes? And from Cilento, Italy. And they run a pretty exciting and interesting place as far as food goes. There's a lot going on in what you do, but before we get into all the details of it, tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows who you are and sort of what Ristolab is.
Absolutely. So yes, my name is Sofia. I'm an ethnobotanist. I have a PhD in sustainable food systems. So I'm more on the research side, let's say. So the lab part of Ristolab. And then there is Amabile.
Sono Amabile, sono appunto di Ristolab e con Sofia abbiamo unito appunto il progetto di unione tra ricerca e cucina.
So the idea was to put the gastronomy and the research together to do an innovative startup that is called Ristolab.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense that there's the science of food, but to have it in an actual space, I would have never put it together myself, because a lot of chefs will think, well, I don't have that kind of connection. And it's amazing that you've come together.
Thank you. Yes, it's a journey. It's a journey, and actually, it's tough sometimes to find a compromise in between these two words. But it's also very intuitive, because these two parts talk about sustainable food in the same way, just in two different languages.
Absolutely. I hear that. I hear that. Well, so tell me, how did you get together? How did this come together, this idea?
Okay, so Amabile will explain a little bit in Italian, and then I can share and translate also in English. Come siamo partiti con Ristolab?
Diciamo che è stato un discorso appunto improntato sul discorso della cucina occidentale e del Mediterraneo. L'idea era quella là di far trasparire all'esterno, alle persone che venissero qui in struttura, ma anche al di fuori, di far capire l'importanza del valore che abbiamo della cucina occidentale e sulla dieta mediterranea, non solo con il cibo, ma anche con la ricerca. Quindi appunto con Sofia ci siamo detti come possiamo far sì che questa cosa venga capita, venga spiegata.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to focus on really the Mediterranean experience, and to share what this is with our place. We got a country house in the hills of Cilento. It's near the hilly area, but also near the sea, 15 minutes by the beach. And we really wanted to make it experiential and immersive, so that people come here and they experience good food, but also a good way of life, that is the Mediterranean lifestyle.
Mm.
L'intento
Okay.
no, l'intento appunto era quello là di portare al tavolo, come dicevamo prima, appunto, non solo i piatti, ma anche la parte di ricerca, la spiegazione sul beneficio che possa portare il prodotto stesso. E quindi parlavamo della stessa cosa, ma in diversi punti di vista, in diverse circostanze, e ci siamo detti perché non ci uniamo, nel senso perché non facciamo una cosa fatta insieme, uniamo cucina e ricerca, e la cucina di per sé è già ricerca, però a noi serviva quel punto in più per far trasparire l'esperienza e abbiamo fondato Ristolab un annetto fa, più o meno, un anno e mezzo fa.
So 1 year ago, we got together and we founded Ristolab, and our aim was to bring to the table not only the dishes and the plates and the recipes that are indigenous and traditional of Cilento, but also the research that is behind it, connected to socio-economic aspects of Cilento, but also to the rich biodiversity and biocultural diversity of this area.
Wow. That's quite an undertaking to pull together for sure.
Thank you. Yes, so this was the idea at the very beginning, and this is the space that we have. And actually, we can also make you have a sneak peek of what we have outside as well.
Yes.
Possiamo vedere anche
Sì,
fuori.
sì, sì. Diciamo che il tempo anche ci accompagna.
Since we can see from the window that it's still good weather.
Hey, that's great.
It's good timing. So the place is very small, and this is a conscious decision because we decided to really make it mindful, the whole experience.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Imagine having lunch or dinner there. I want to join you. Look at the view. What are we looking at outside in the view here? We can't hear Chef right now, but Sofia, can you share with us what he's saying there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can translate. Go ahead. Vai.
Questo qua è uno dei tavoli che utilizziamo, i tavoli diciamo, durante il servizio che ho il pranzo, la cena di sera, e abbiamo predisposto alcuni, nonostante utilizziamo la ceramica che
So this is one of the many tables we use for the service during lunchtime or dinner. And this is the ceramic, the traditional ceramics of Cilento that we use, and we buy from local producers.
non solo per ovviamente per una questione di portare, ritornare un po' indietro nel passato, ma anche perché questi bicchieri di ceramica mandano una freschezza all'interno dell'acqua, il vino o le bibite.
This is to go back in time and bring back traditions, but it's also because it keeps water or liquids refrigerated at cold temperature.
Oh, wow.
E poi questo è tutto l'altro piano che utilizziamo durante i servizi e lì vediamo appunto dove abbiamo piantato le varie piantine di stagione come il prezzemolo, basilico, quello che utilizziamo nella cucina.
Then apart from this table, you can see the rest of the porch, yes, and the garden where we planted aromatic herbs like parsley, basil, sage, and we use these herbs a lot in our kitchen.
Qui invece abbiamo dei cestini, come vedete c'è il cesto cilentano,
Here we have a very traditional basket
che utilizziamo per i nostri clienti quando vengono con noi nell'orto per andare a raccogliere il pomodoro, la melanzana o le verdure di stagione.
and this we use it with our clients when they come with us. We bring them to the didactic gardens or to our farm to really see the fresh produce and get them.
E poi ovviamente le portiamo in cucina, ci creiamo il piatto che loro preferiscono, loro vogliono, però l'importante è quello sia sulle verdure fresche di stagione, quindi il chilometro zero, ma lo è anche per fargli capire l'importanza e il valore che ha una pianta, quindi la freschezza del prodotto.
And the cool idea, sustainable idea behind this is to reconnect the clients to then the consumers to the fresh produce, understand about local food systems and seasonality, and go back to the kitchen together and prepare fresh, local, sustainable dishes with those ingredients.
So they come into the kitchen with him then?
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's an experience.
Then, of course, the olive oil is with our own olives. Here we are in an olive grove.
Diciamo che più il ristorante noi ci siamo focalizzati sull'esperienza mediterranea, per far capire partendo dal prodotto fresco, arrivando poi al piatto finale.
So the interesting, important thing about this is that we want to really focus on Mediterranean experience.
For sure. That's amazing. That's a beautiful place to be sitting, and to be able to sit with the chef as well is amazing. I wonder, with all of this beauty around you, how do you get to creating sort of sustainable menus, or how do you impart that idea of sustainable menus when you're writing them?
Yes. Come facciamo a fare i menu sostenibili?
Allora, diciamo che noi i menù le cambiamo giornalmente.
We change the menus daily.
Quindi in base al prodotto fresco che troviamo, che sia la verdura o il pescato del giorno.
Depending on the fresh produce that we find, like veggies or fresh fish.
Solitamente la nostra giornata, diciamo, inizia così, scendendo presto la mattina e andando sui pozzetti ad Acciaroli o a Casabellino, e vediamo che pesce hanno pescato la mattina presto. Prendiamo quello, poi passiamo per l'orto a raccogliere le verdure e poi si va in cucina. Quindi noi non abbiamo mai un menù fisso che possiamo lo stesso piatto tutti i giorni, ma viene cambiato giornalmente in base appunto al pescato, al raccolto o a quello che possa essere per i contadini, formaggi.
So, yes, Amabile is saying that we never have a fixed menu. It always depends on what we find, and our days start like this. We wake up early and we go to the fishermen's, the small fishermen's first thing in the morning in Acciaroli or in Casalbellino that are nearby small ports. And there we understand what they got, and we get to chat with them and get information about what is the freshest produce that we can get. We also get advice many times, yeah. And then on how to cook them, and it's a very nice dialogue with the producers. And then he was saying we rely on what we have here in terms of aromatic herbs or just spontaneous herbs and veggies. And then what we cannot get, we go to the farmers and we get it from them, and then we come back.
Diciamo che stiamo portando avanti come obiettivo proprio il discorso della dieta mediterranea, dello stile di vita, del vivere sano. Oggi come oggi la dieta mediterranea è stata un po', come possiamo dire, politicizzata, sì, nel senso sì, non è stato mai capito quello che era davvero come 60 anni fa. Diciamo che la dieta mediterranea è uno stile di vita, ma è anche la povertà dei nostri nonni negli anni 60.
So we're trying to bring on and pass on the Mediterranean diet, which is a huge responsibility, also because he was saying, and I agree, the Mediterranean diet has been a little bit politicized and also subject to a heavy marketing process, while in fact Amabile is saying that the real, authentic Mediterranean diet was the one of simplicity and the one of the poverty of our grandparents in the 60s.
They ate what they had, right? It's interesting you say you talk to the fishermen, you go to the farmers. How important is creating that sort of community engagement and those partnerships in creating a business like what you have there?
Super important. So, quanto è importante avere una relazione diretta con i contadini, con i produttori, con i pescatori e creare questa comunità.
Tantissimo, molto, perché appunto noi abbiamo due missioni, oltre a quella di mantenere il valore, la dieta mediterranea, il valore del prodotto stesso, la seconda missione è quella là di far lavorare questi piccoli produttori. Quindi è importante quello che noi facciamo generalmente nell'acquisto, aiutiamo le famiglie dei pescatori, aiutiamo le famiglie dei contadini.
So yes, he's saying that apart from the missions of bringing on the Mediterranean diet and also using fresh local produce, we also have the mission of really supporting the local economy. And so those small fishermen or producers, we really want to support that kind of local business.
Fantastic. So I'm understanding the restaurant side. It sounds like somewhere I would love to stay for a while. I don't know how big the space is, if we could share that with it. I also want to know, in that same breath, how do you fit in, Sofia? Where does the lab part of this fit into the picture so I can better see sort of the whole idea?
Absolutely. So from the research side, what we thought was to really, make research more digestible through the menus. So when we eat, it's not just about nourishing our body, but also nourishing our mind and our soul. So being a conscious, sustainable small business like we are, it means that we need to support the local economy, as Amabile was saying, but also we need to support the traditions, the biodiversity. And in order to do that, we really need to pair up the research and the gastronomy. So our menus have now been certified and recognized by the Life Climate Smart Chef Award, by the Slow Food with the Alliance of the Cooks. But what we really want to want as a satisfaction, as a fulfillment, a personal and professional one, is when clients get more involved into the depth of the menu. So this is why we provide also some information alongside with the menu. And we aim to empower and inform consumers about what is sustainable, what is in season, what is a local food, and so that it becomes a very empowering new and alternative experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see that. And I can imagine sitting there, you wouldn't just be eating, mindlessly eating. Mm-hmm. You're very aware, you're very conscious of what you're doing and what you're eating, where it's come from, how it's sourced. It makes you, as you said, a really immersive experience. It sounds fabulous, really. So what kind of biodiversity are you looking at when you're looking at it from a sort of science side?
Yeah, so from the science side, it's very interesting because, of course, before us, there is a huge body of knowledge. If you think about traditional Mediterranean medicine, you go way back, till, Egyptian, Roman, Greek times. And then after that, of course, there was Ansel Keys in Pioppi doing research about the Mediterranean diet, more on a nutritional kind of level and perspective. But nowadays, since our generation in particular is very attentive and careful about climate change, we also need to pair up the climate component. And so making menus that are environmentally friendly and looking at the biodiversity to sort of balance it out, so that, we can take from what nature gives us here at the local level. And this is also why some of these ancient traditions are coming back, in my opinion, because a lot of the foraging that was done back in the days is now becoming super extra trendy. Yes. So a lot of consumers, people, tourists that come here, they really want to know how people were autosufficient back in the days. And a lot of our menus use wild fennel, cicoria selvatica, all these herbs that we have here. And you can see on the streets. Yeah, and I think it becomes very empowering also for food sovereignty.
Absolutely. It can be, food can be your medicine if you do it right, right? I think in that still that same line of thought. So we have our research side with you, Sofia, and chefs Amabile. If we ask other chefs, if we ask the ones who are watching today, they would say they don't have the knowledge or the ability to do something like this. It seems so far reaching, and you've been really successful in the last year and a bit that you've been running, and you've really created a beautiful collaboration. And I think that's the word of today's times is collaboration. Without it, you can't do anything. So what would you say to a chef, Amabile? How would they be able to do something similar? How do they go outside of their comfort zone of just cooking and get a little more in depth?
Sì, a livello di collaborazione, dato che noi a livello di collaborazione siamo stati così di successo, che consigli avresti per altri chef che vogliono fare qualcosa di simile?
Sicuramente che appunto fare le collaborazioni, sinergia, tutte queste cose qua è fondamentale di importanza, ma il consiglio che do sempre è quello di salvaguardare la nostra storia, del passato, in questo caso la storia della dieta mediterranea, di salvaguardare i piatti antichi di una volta, perché noi come tanti altri ragazzi abbiamo una missione, è quello di mantenere vivo la storia e portare avanti per chi poi ovviamente verrà questa missione.
So Amabile is saying collaboration is key, and also another thing that is very important is to bring on the knowledge, pass it to the next generation, since it's a very important heritage of the territory and of the local community. And from my side, I would say that collaboration is key because you only see part of the picture, and if you have another person from a different sector coming with you to do a project, you can see a better picture.
Yeah, I see that. It's remarkable that you've come together and you differentiate yourselves in so many ways. You have made an experience where people are immersive, and Amabile said, you know, he takes them into the kitchen, which is phenomenal. You show them the inside and outside of where the food is from and how you bring it together. And how big is the restaurant? Like, the chefs are going to want to know how big, how many seats is it? What kind of, you know, we've seen how beautiful the view is, but can people stay? Is it a destination place? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, chiedono quanto è grande il ristorante, quanti posso sedere.
Allora, diciamo che noi per nostra scelta il ristorante potrebbe contenere fino a 100 persone, però per nostra scelta
So the restaurant could be very big because we have the Olive Grove, and you know, with the picnics, it could be until 100 people, but we made a conscious choice.
però per nostra scelta appunto abbiamo deciso di fare un massimo di 40 persone e di fare una turnazione sola, perché il messaggio che vogliamo far trasparire è che il tavolo è del cliente, della stessa persona, noi ci serve che ce lo ritorni l'indomani a pranzo o la sera, e questo è anche per mantenere ovviamente la freschezza del prodotto, perché facendo tante persone non si riesce a sapere tutto, quindi si perderebbe il...
So for a more relaxed experience of the customers and also fresher ingredients, we decided to make it maximum 40 people inside and outside, while inside it's like 24 people. And this is also because your table is yours until the end of the evening, and there isn't a second turn, so you're not rushing.
And you have overnight stay as well there?
Yeah, so the kitchen is also very small, and we decided to make it like this because it's in the real Mediterranean style, keep it simple and minimalist. And then we have 6 rooms, so people can come here and really stay and relax, and just for a long weekend or more days. Since we have these rooms, they often come here. They have a dining experience or even hiking and foraging, and then they stay and relax.
That's amazing. I love the idea of coming, staying, and being fully immersed in the olive grove. I think you would walk away feeling so much more connected with your food, right? There's a question here from someone in Myanmar. They are working on a similar concept in Myanmar, and where they create a menu and guests look at what they have over what they have, and they create a plate together. They want to ask you, your other restaurants in your area, how are they reacting or looking into the way you're cooking? Are they celebrating and coming in, or is there any sort of feedback that you're getting from the local businesses that are around you?
That's a very good question. Chiedono dal Myanmar come reagiscono gli altri ristoranti nella zona, se celebrano questo successo oppure se vengono a vedere cosa sta succedendo.
No, sul fatto di
Incidente,
incidente.
cioè sì.
Sì, diciamo che si fanno molte domande, cercano di capire. Noi ovviamente cerchiamo di dare tutte le risposte al caso e
Yeah.
cerchiamo anche ovviamente di dargli un consiglio per far sì che si posizionino in un modo ovviamente legato al territorio e ai piatti occidentali, alla storia.
So yeah, Amabile is saying other restaurants and food businesses are questioning themselves a lot and re-questioning themselves. So they are coming to us asking about this different model, and this opens the opportunity for dialogue about alternative business models as well. Because, and I'm connecting to that, in Cilento, there is a huge problem of over-tourism, mass tourism in the summer months. And so what we are trying to do is destagionalizzare, we say in Italian, so spread out the tourism in all the months. So that then you link the gastrotourism packages to what's in season. For instance, in November, we have the olives, the olive harvesting season, and we decided to create some packages of olive harvesting with us. And people come, they stay, they sleep, and then they learn about the olive making process, olive oil making process. And then the same thing is in April with the wild herbs, with the wild asparagus, September with the white fig of Cilento. So this is the alternative way of thinking about tourism as well.
That is tremendous. I can imagine celebrating the whole year long rather than just keeping focused in that really intense and really burning everyone out in the kitchen and in the tourism industry. Just spread it out and allow everyone to really enjoy the space, and the people who are working in the industry to be sustainable as well, and to be able to, you know, take care of themselves all the year through. That's an amazing concept to share with the local people that have been really pushed hard, because I know Cilento is beautiful and it's heavy in the summer. You go anywhere in Italy in the summer and it's so saturated, where it could be nice for everyone all year round. That's something to take away for sure. So in that toolkit that we want to, so when we do these things, I always like to have sort of that idea of takeaway. So for the chefs, what would he say is the way to connect with someone like yourself, Sofia? How can they do this? Like, where do we always picture ourselves, we're just a cook, right? I'm just a cook. I don't know these things, right? I don't do these things. How do they find that courage, and where do they find the connections for someone like you?
Yeah, I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to ask it to Amabile, because we have two different views. Maybe.
Right.
From my side, I would say go to academia. I know it feels like it's non-accessible, but I think what academia and what universities need nowadays is an opportunity to apply their research to concrete contexts. Like I finished my PhD and I was really hungry for some opportunity to apply my knowledge into a real context. And I think this is what chefs can give to sustainable food researchers. Chiedeva come possono gli chef trovare un'opportunità tipo per fare sostenibilità, ricerca, mettere la ricerca nei menu.
Io dico sempre una cosa che è un po' un messaggio, è che basta seguire il prodotto, cioè nel senso basta ascoltare il prodotto, e da lì poi parte tutta la parte ricerca. Quando cuciniamo, spesso diciamo alle persone che sono il prodotto stesso che parla. Noi semplicemente ascoltiamo e lo andiamo a cucinare, ma fa tutto lui. Quindi la ricerca di per sé avviene già dall'inizio del prodotto stesso, la parte grezza, per poi arrivare ovviamente in cucina.
So Amabile is saying to go back to the produce and to the source of the food. What he didn't say, and I'm gonna add, is that he's also a fisherman and also a hunter. So he kind of touches with his own hands really at the very beginning of the food chain. And what he said is that it's important because the produce really speaks to you. So the more that you go at the very beginning of the food chain, the more you understand about it and the more data it gives you.
I think sort of encapsulating all of this today, if you almost take a step back for a second, give yourself the chance and opportunity to connect with the full supply chain. Really get to know the roots of the vegetables and fruits and where in the water the fish are coming and how they're being fished. We talk to the sources. You create a great culture of food, and we can do this in any business. Get away from just buying what's there, but get to what's available and what's most seasonal, and work with somebody who understands the food supply chain as a whole, like yourself. You've worked and done your PhD in things that we wouldn't understand, and it helps us grow as a chef, and we would be able to have a better experience for our customers, I think, right then.
Exactly, Shana. And if I can also add a little bit on that, I think what we really need nowadays is radical, disruptive collaborations. And this is because it's more important than any kind of label certifying that something is sustainable. The more you collaborate with competent, credible, legitimate research institutions as chefs, the more you can translate the work that you do, that maybe it's already sustainable, into something that sounds more sustainable because maybe it has that language that academia can provide and those data that academia can provide that can legitimate a certain claim.
It's so important, and I think the work you're doing is so important, and I love the space you've created. I think anyone who's watching right now is going to be interested to come see your slow food movement there in Cilento. I appreciate both of you being here today. There's been lots of thankful comments, people who have said thanks for opening their eyes to the idea of the 12-month tourism rather than squeezing everything into 60 days, and understanding that collaboration is really the key to taking your business to the next level. Anything last words you wanted to say, either of you? I don't want to end, but we are closing in on our last few minutes.
Vuoi dire qualcos'altro come ultime parole?
Sì, aggiungerei che le invitiamo tutti qui nel Cilento e che secondo me quello che abbiamo parlato fino adesso, anche della parte sinergia, può sicuramente portare a costruire qualcosa insieme. Quindi il nostro invito è qui nel Cilento innanzitutto per loro, ma perché no, si potrebbe creare un evento sulla cucina, quindi così che loro possono portare ogni
Amabile would like to extend an invitation to you all to come to Cilento, and also an idea, because the idea is to really come here and maybe have a culinary exchange.
Magari sì, si può creare portando al tavolo vari piatti diversi delle loro nazioni anche, piatti più importanti.
Maybe we can also, bring to the table something that is Mediterranean and is from Cilento, but also something from a different part of the world. And this space that is so serene and calm can become a space for dialogue and for culinary exchange as well. So we're very open to that and very open also to some philosophies that are, aligned to this one of the slow life and of the Mediterranean way of eating and staying together.
That's a remarkable invite, and I think World Chefs, there will be many people who will take you up on that. I would love to be there at the olive harvesting time, to have a bunch of white coats from World Chefs all there helping you. I think we've got a plan in motion, right?
Come, and then you can bring home a liter of olive oil or even more if we're lucky.
Fabulous. Well, thank you both so much for sharing. I appreciate your time. What you're doing is amazing. This is our Sustainability Around the World webcast for this month, and I look forward to meeting you all in person sometime soon. Take care, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.